Welcome everybody tonight for our event with UROC, the Undergraduate Research Opportunity Center here at UC Merced. Welcome to our online event called Preparing for Research and Your Professional Development. Hi, my name is Ricky Hill and I am the UC Merced e-recruiter and your moderator for this event this afternoon. I would like to give you a few quick tips on how you can participate with us tonight. The first one being if you need to make some adjustments to your audio settings, you can do that in the lower left corner of your screen. You'll just click on the audio settings, make those adjustments as necessary, and you'll be all set with that. The next option, if you would like to raise your hand throughout the presentation, you can do so at the lower portion of your screen. There is an icon that says raise hand. You'll simply select that icon. Once you're ready to lower your hand, you'll just select that again. The next part is if you'd like to participate in our question and answer, please do so by selecting the Q&A button also at the bottom portion of your screen. You can enter your question there and we will get to that during the presentation. We will also be providing a live Q&A at the end of this event as well, so please stay tuned for that. One last feature at the top of your screen, you should see an option for View Options. That will give you the opportunity to change your screen to either a full size or something smaller than that, whatever your preference may be. At this time, I would like to go ahead and hand off this presentation to Jorge. Thanks so much.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to our webinar about our office and the resources we provide to students at UC Merced. As Ricky said, my name is Jorge Arroyo. I currently serve as the director for the UROC office. I was previously the STEM coordinator, and we'll introduce the new person who's in that position now soon. But as the director, I facilitate conversations with faculty on campus and ensure our students are getting access to research opportunities, both at UC Merced and even at other institutions. Want to introduce yourself, Emily?
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Emily Hang. I am the STEM coordinator for UROC. I've been with UROC a little bit over a year now. I coordinate and manage undergraduate research outreach, retention, and recruitment for our science, engineering, technology, and math undergraduate scholars. I also provide academic support and support for our scholars with graduate school preparation.
Okay, so to get started on our presentation, this is the staff that currently works at UROC. There are two coordinators. One is Emily, who you've just met, and the other one is Valerie. She's the SHA coordinator. So for any students that are in social sciences, humanities, and arts, the students can directly contact one of the coordinators to ensure that they're getting accurate information based on their discipline, their research interests, or specific programs, which we'll cover in a little bit. The other staff member is Cecilia Barba. She's an alumni from UC Merced. She participated in one of our programs as well, and she facilitates all of the online CAT course information for our programs, as well as facilitating some of the administrative responsibilities in the office. That's our contact information listed up there. And at the very end, I'll also have a slide that has some of the information for our office in general that you can also utilize to contact our office. So one of the main things I wanted to cover to start tonight, research at UC Merced is very important. And we've come to identify a few specific areas that we know students excel and develop either personally, professionally, or academically in specific areas. We really encourage students to participate in research at UC Merced. One of those reasons is all of the outcomes that you see here that we've seen with our students. One of the best things about our programs is we do a cohort model. So every year you join one of our programs with a group of other students that are on a similar path as yourself. Usually encouraging each other, supportive environment, having an opportunity to kind of build up each other as you're going through the process. One of the other things that our office focuses on is graduation school or graduate school, and also career planning. We've seen a lot of our students really excel in the graduate school application process because of our programs and the research development that we provide. So all of these things really contribute to the development of the students before they graduate at UC Merced. So those are the reasons why we want you to think about UC Merced, particularly as undergraduate students. The great opportunity that you have at our campus is that at other institutions, you usually don't get that experience until you're either graduating already or you're already in graduate school. At UC Merced, we have a smaller number of grad students, which means the research that needs to happen at a research institution usually goes to undergraduate students. You have a great opportunity to access and work directly with faculty at UC Merced. So this is a general list of all of our programs that we offer directly through our office. They are all funded through different sources. This is also available on our website. If you go to the uroc.ucmerced.edu website, there's a lot of information, but if you specifically want to look at the programs, this flyer is also listed there to help you kind of identify where you might land. If you're brand new to research, the majority of our programs are for students who are in that category. And based on your discipline or major or your research interests, you might have specific programs to look for. So if you follow the map or the path, that you'll find the ones that fit for you. If you have previous research experience, either from involvement with the program, summer bridge, or some type of research experience, or you're looking at UROC later in your career at UC Merced, there are specific programs that usually want research experience prior to you joining that program. So this is kind of a brief overview and a big picture of all the programs I'm going to go into in a little bit. The way that we look at our programs is that the UROC office is the umbrella for all of these experiences. And so we've broken this slide down into the different areas of research based on discipline. So if you're in a STEM major, as Emily said, science, technology, engineering, or mathematics, the programs that follow under that section, you have to do research in those areas. Some of them require you to even be in the major, which we'll cover in a little bit. The other students that are interested in research that are very specific is the UROC program. It's specifically in humanities and humanistic social sciences. The two on the bottom right, SURF and SOAR, are the UC Merced institutionally funded programs that are really open to any discipline, any type of research. And even if you want to go outside of your major, you can explore other research areas in that program. All of our programs feed into our Summer Research Institute. It's also known as SURI. It's 9 weeks. You're doing intensive research experience with the faculty member that you choose. And we provide a lot of different workshops on graduate school preparation, professionalism, public speaking. So these are all programs that our office hosts that directly feed into that experience. So all students in our programs are required to participate in SURI. If you have questions throughout, feel free to ask. We'll also save some time at the end, so if you have some general questions about programs, we'll also answer those. So the way I broke down each slide for the programs, the top few bullet points are the specifics that are different for those programs, and the other UROC program standards are kind of across the board. So you'll see that all of the programs have similar structure with the 9-week summer research project as part of SURI, as well as a stipend, conference travel. So students that conduct research with us during the summer get access to funding to travel to conferences across the nation and even internationally to go and present their research. The other part of this, excuse me, is participating in our summer symposium. So to start with, our UROC program, as I mentioned, it's humanities and humanistic social sciences. You don't have to be in those majors, but you have to do research in that area, and it has to be very specific based on this program. This is funded by the Andrew Mellon Foundation, and so the research that is funded through that has to be humanities. The other thing to identify on our slides, the bottom right is the Services for Undocumented Students logo. So the programs that have that butterfly listed are open to undocumented and DACA students. So that's something to keep in mind as well if you identify in that demographic. So I'm going to go through the programs pretty quickly, and I'm only going to identify the specifics that are for that program. That way we're not going to repeat all of the stipend and all the other information. So I'll try to go through these pretty quickly so we can get to your questions at the end. So the next program is the CAMP program. This is funded through the National Science Foundation, also known as NSF. The research that is for this program has to be in a STEM discipline and specific to that research area. This, because it's funded through the US government, it's a federally funded program, requires US citizenship. So you don't see the butterfly in the bottom right corner. This program also has a statewide symposium. So in addition to participating in a research presentation at UC Merced, you would also participate in that annual symposium with other students across the UC system. It's a great networking opportunity to meet faculty at another institution and start networking for graduate school. And again, the program standards that are at the bottom. The next opportunity is a partnership UC Merced has with the Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory and the Department of Energy. It's known as the Joint Genome Institute, or JGI. The projects are focused on data science. So anybody that's in mathematics, computer science, are interested in coding, particularly if you have Python or R experience, fantastic applicability. You'll see the star here that previous research experience is preferred. They're not going to want to teach you all of the basics at this experience. They're expecting students to come with some coding skills or some background in data analysis. The only other thing that's not on this slide is that this partnership has been going for, this will be our 6th summer doing it. And every year it's changed a little bit. The JGI Institute just moved to the Lawrence Berkeley Labs in Berkeley proper. Excuse my dog's barking. And so there's an opportunity for students to actually work at the Berkeley Labs. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, we're not doing it this summer, so the program will be remote, but there is opportunities at both UC Merced and at the Lawrence Berkeley Lab. The next opportunity that we have is UC Leads. This is another statewide opportunity across the board, across the UC system. Oops, excuse me. So the benefit of this program is that it's 2 years. The students that are in this program are at UC Merced their first summer, and then their second summer, you get to choose which campus you would like to be conducting research. So the great part of this is that our students typically network for graduate school and get enrollment. So say you wanted to go to UCLA or you want to go to UC San Francisco, if you're thinking about a biomedical bound path, it's a great opportunity for you already to establish that network and get committed at that campus. The other thing with this is that, similar to the CAMP program, it has to be in STEM research. You don't have to be a STEM major for this program though. So we have had public health, a few sociology students that have wanted to be in this program. So it is open a little bit more. The only thing that, or the interesting thing that we have at UC Merced is cognitive science tends to fall on either the psychology side, which is more of a Shaw-based discipline, or on the neuroscience, neurobiology. So if you're a cognitive science major, you're technically in the School of Social Sciences, Humanities, and Arts, but you can do research in this program if you're on the more neuroscience side of things, biology path. Okay. And similar to the CAMP program, this also has a system-wide symposium. It rotates every campus. We hosted a few years ago. We'll be hosting again in 3 years, but it's another great opportunity for students to present their research somewhere. So now to the UC Merced funded programs. The great thing about our funding sources is that we've been able to support students across any discipline. As you saw in the previous programs, they tend to be a little specific. You have to be in a STEM discipline, you have to be a US citizen, you have to be in humanities. Our SURF and SOAR programs are open to any student, any discipline. It does not require US citizenship. You don't have to have confirmation of previous research experience. It is very broad and very open to ensure that all students have access to a research opportunity. And that program has actually grown a lot in the last 2 years. We're excited about that. Okay, so our application process, which students are usually like, what do I have to do to get this? It looked like free money, great opportunity to travel to a conference. So we have an online application. We do model our application after graduate school admissions. So what you'll see is we try to condense that into a smaller, shorter version of what you would expect in the graduate school application process. So we do have 2 600-word essays, personal statements similar to what you would have on a grad school application. We say a CV or resume. We know a lot of first-year students would typically have a resume. Through our programs, we would help you develop what is called the curriculum vitae. It's also known as a CV. It's the academic version of your resume. We have a whole presentation. I'll cover that if you get admitted to our programs. We do ask for 1 letter of recommendation as part of your application to ensure that there's somebody vouching for you. We prefer it to be from a professor, so somebody that's a faculty member at UC Merced or at a previous institution if you've taken community college classes. But we will also take it from a previous high school teacher, a lecturer, a supervisor if you had a part-time job. We know that is a barrier for some students. You might not have developed a relationship with a professor at UC Merced yet when you apply to our programs. So we will take it from somebody else, but we want you to get used to that, because as you apply for graduate school, you will need up to 3 letters of recommendation, and it has to be from a professor. Okay. Copy of academic transcripts. We do have a GPA requirement for some of the programs, and that goes into more specifics on our website. We don't always stick to that really hard fast, particularly for our SURF program, because we know that you might have a struggle in your first or second year, which brought your GPA down. But we ask for your transcript so we can kind of take a look at your trajectory and see how you're doing in your coursework, particularly in your major courses. The next bullet point is usually no prior research experience. The majority of our programs are open to students who are brand new to this, have never done research before, don't even know what research is. But there was that one program, JGI, and then also our SOAR program that required previous research experience, or usually want some previous research experience. The last bullet point I wanted to make sure I identify for all of the first years on this. If you are a transfer, we have another workshop and we can also follow up with you. But for first year students, you need to wait a little bit. We want you to take some courses at UC Merced. We want you to do some research of your own, do some homework, finding out what faculty are doing, find your interest, kind of get your grounding at UC Merced first. Our programs are typically for rising juniors or seniors. The reason why is faculty want to ensure that you are getting the development in your major courses first, because if you start a research project, they're not going to teach you the basics. They're going to want you to be familiar with the main topics, or at least have some grounding before you start a research project. Okay. So what can you do now? If we're telling you to wait, what do I do? Like, why am I on this, right? So we want you to focus on your courses, of course. That's one of the things that I mentioned. The other thing is ensure you're talking to your professors. So they love talking about their research projects. They want to engage students in this conversation. So as you're taking courses at UC Merced in your first year, go to office hours, ask them about their research projects, ask them what graduate students are doing at UC Merced. A lot of the faculty have served as mentors for our students. So if you bring up UROC and that you want to apply for us next year, a lot of them have served as mentors through our programs and are going to be familiar with that process and can help you and support you through the application and then eventually getting a research project. The other thing is, as you're coming into UC Merced, make sure you're always updating your resume, find opportunities to get some involvement on campus to really build that up. If you start looking at a CV, if you start drafting something, fantastic. If you don't, it's okay, you can submit a resume, but make sure you have an updated version of that when you apply for our programs. So throughout the time in your first year, go to our Career Services Office. It's the CCPA, Career Center for Professional Advancement. It's a great opportunity for you to get that updated and looked at by somebody else, even if you don't have a lot of experience. Maybe you only volunteered or you had a part-time job one summer. It's still a good idea to get that updated as quickly as possible. The other thing is, as you're taking classes, talk to your grad student TAs. They are doing research. It's part of why they're in graduate school. A lot of them have become familiar with our programs as well. And so if you start talking to them about research, they can pull you in and give you some opportunities very early in your career. The only other thing, aside from faculty that I'm going to cover on the next slide, is talking to our undergraduate students at UC Merced. If you get networking pretty quickly, you will find that a lot of students are interested in bringing you into research projects, particularly if you show yourself as somebody who's interested and really committed to doing research. A lot of the organizations on campus have specific either professional, career, social, but there are also based on research programs or their interests, a lot of our students have joined those organizations and can help you get into opportunities. So the last thing, your homework in your first year and maybe second year is looking at what faculty are doing. So a question that we always get is, how do I find faculty at UC Merced? So this is where you can find Senate faculty on the Graduate Division's website. And if you click our programs, there's a list of all the academic PhD and master's programs at UC Merced. So the link is up there. If you go to that website, you might have to click through a couple buttons. This is a drop-down menu here. And so this is a static page, just a screenshot. But if you go to the website, you can look at different programs based on your interest in research areas. Those are broken down by the graduate groups. So if you are engineering, you might have to look at mechanical engineering. If you're computer science, you're to look at computer science and engineering. If you are sociology, that one's pretty standard, but you might have to click through to find the faculty that are listed in different areas. When you start going through those disciplines, for example, this one, interdisciplinary humanities, that's a multiple discipline program, interdisciplinary, of course. So you'll see sociology, anthropology, history. So these are kind of the breakdowns. When you go to the faculty member's website, you will see multiple things. Their lab or research group information, current people. So if they have undergrads and grads already working with them, you can see that information there. And you will also see publications. So your homework in your first 2 years at UC Merced is start getting familiar with what faculty are doing. And a great way of doing that is looking at the research that they've already conducted and what their interests are. Okay. So that's all of the programs that I wanted to cover. I also want to identify that we have social media on this page, a link to our website, as well as our office. So when you come to campus in the first semester, feel free to stop by our office. We're located in the Student Services building towards the back of campus. If you have any questions, you can always email the staff from the beginning slides, as well as our general email address. All of us have access to that. You can also set up meetings on our website. So if you go to uroc.ucmerced.edu and about us, there's another section that's for office hours where you can schedule the meetings with us directly. For Shaw students, try to go with Valerie because she's going to be able to give you more information specifically about Shaw disciplines and research areas. And then for any STEM students, try to go to Emily. But all of us can answer questions, reroute you to the right person if we don't have the correct answers, or we could even provide some of the information because we are familiar with the other programs and areas. I myself, I directly worked with the SOAR scholars who are advanced researchers in our programs, but I've worked with students across all disciplines, so I'm pretty familiar with all of them. The only other thing, our staff is really open to meeting students and talking about the process. A lot of us are familiar and really passionate about higher education and student affairs, really want students to be successful. So even if it's not about your application or specifically going into a research program, always feel free to reach out to us. We are more than happy to provide that support and service, as well as giving you information about other resources on campus because we are familiar with other areas and the information that those offices provide. So I've done my part now. I wanted to open it for questions. Emily, did anything come through that we want to address live?
Yeah, so I was gonna answer some of these questions that we received. So a lot of the attendees are asking, is it possible for freshmen and sophomores to take advantage of the research opportunities? So like Jorge said, we don't necessarily push for it or recommend it because we want you to be really acclimated with campus. We want you to take the foundation courses to be more prepared for research. But we do have instances where students that are freshmen come in with a wealth of experience. So they've already conducted research, they've already partaken in some sort of experience. So yes, we do encourage you to apply, but again, we really look for our rising seniors and juniors. And so another question that I received was, is it too late to apply for the summer? It is. We open our enrollment in fall of the summer before. So if you are planning to participate in this summer, you would have to have applied fall of 2019 as well as spring 2020 to participate in our summer 2020. What meets the criteria of research experience? Jorge, do you want to answer that one?
Yeah, so the reason why we say research experience is that in courses, you will get research projects or things like group projects. We don't consider that a full research experience because you're not doing the full developing hypothesis, coming to looking at theoretical background or frameworks. That's when we want you to really think about the research project that you would have with faculty members. So when we say previous research experience, we want to ensure that you are actually understanding the full process. Through our interview or the application process, we also conduct interviews. So if that comes up as an area of concern or question, like we would definitely address that with students. And so we also check that you're getting research experience with somebody prior to applying for those programs that require it. But we typically want something more than like a paper for a course or a course related group project where you're having to like do a mini study. We want you to have the full research experience with also creating a poster, a paper, or an oral presentation, because that's what we consider the full process.
And I did get another question. I'm just going to revisit it. Are the programs available only if you plan to attend grad school? So we typically gear our programs towards grad school. We prepare you for that route. But again, it can be open to anybody looking to experience research. So not necessarily, you don't have to go towards grad school. Our students are still exploring opportunities. So we do welcome you to explore this if you were considering it, or if you were unsure if you wanted to do med school, pharmacy, or what have you. We definitely encourage all of our students to experience the opportunities that UC Merced offers, which being research as well. I don't have any other questions right now, but please feel free to chime in. We're here to answer any questions. Now is your chance.
The other thing I forgot to add, sorry, I was going to add another little tidbit. We are one office. We provide one set of programs. There are other offices that host research experiences that also partner with us on Surrey. And so there are a couple other programs that support research at UC Merced. The other opportunities are through volunteering. So if, say, you start getting connected with the professor, your grad student TAs, they can pull you into lab meetings, getting you some volunteer experience. You can start getting the feel of what research is. The other opportunity, once you start getting connected more closely with the faculty member, you can do independent study and get research units. So you'll get credits for doing research. Typically, you're not also getting paid. So you're doing that in addition to your regular coursework. And then if you have to do a part-time job, that's in addition to it. So then you would have to then adjust based on your involvement in your research or your course load for that semester or during the summer as well.
I did get a question. Are the costs charged as part of tuition fees? This program, our summer program, is not, there's no charge, no fees. We do offer you a stipend. And sometimes we do, not sometimes, we also offer housing for our students that are in need. So there's no cost to you. It's not like taking a summer course, it's participating in research. And so the funding that we provide you is to cover your housing and like parking and commuting to campus. Let's see, next question. I've done research at the USDA ARS this last summer. Would that qualify? I did have a whole process and I had to conduct an oral presentation as well. Yeah, that could actually, would be considered research experience. We do still encourage you to apply, and then we can have that engaging conversation with you and to see what you've done, etc. But yeah, absolutely.
And I will also say there is a USDA program by one of our faculty mentors at UC Merced, who's the faculty director for the USDA program, and would be really happy to see that there's a student applying to the programs that has previous USDA experience. So look out for that opportunity as well.
Right, and then you can work with that faculty member as well. Next question. Does research experience include an introduction to research course where we conduct our own research? Do you want to answer that one?
So we don't have a class identified. It's one of the things that we've been talking about with faculty, that we would need a course to start that. We typically offer some capacity building workshops and a boot camp for students. So there's participation in some certification through either our research ethics office or through our environmental health and safety office to ensure that you're getting the adequate certification for research. What we then do is support the students getting kind of the background information and understanding what a research project is. And part of our programs, as I said, the majority of them are for students who are brand new to this experience and don't have any idea about research. And so we set you up for success. We cover all of the basics to ensure that you're getting that. Your faculty mentor would also then provide you with structure, ongoing meetings, and making sure that you're getting the hang of what their research specifically in their project requires.
Perfect. The next question, does research, where are research topics coming from? So you're not creating your own research topic, you're actually going to be working with a faculty mentor that has a research project ongoing. And so you're going to partake in their research. The faculty will mentor you throughout the entire process. So you're not creating your own project. You'll be working with them on producing a part of their research. I hope that answered that question. Did you want to add anything, Jorge?
Nope, I think that's great.
Perfect.
So part of that, sorry, the only thing I will add is looking at what the faculty are currently doing. That'll give you an idea of where those topics and what they're currently working on.
What are the various programs and subjects in undergraduate? So I would take a look at the major that UC Merced offers, and they'll give you the information about the majors that we offer. I think that's the question. I don't know. What are the various programs and subjects in undergraduate?
I would say that because I did show the graduate school, the grad groups, and so the undergrads would be based on the majors. But the undergraduate experiences don't always include Senate faculty. They might be adjunct faculty such as lecturers, which aren't required to conduct research yet as part of their position. So you want to look at Senate faculty through the graduate groups to find the faculty who could potentially serve as mentors.
Are the research programs first come and first serve? So did you want to answer that one?
Not necessarily. So throughout our application process, you don't have to be the first one to apply to get the opportunity. But I will say that if you start connecting with us early and understand the process, we host workshops to help you with the application and to talk about the process. So if you do that early enough and get familiar with the program or with the application, I think you are more competitive. So I would say try to reach out to us with your interests and start talking to us early during the open application periods to ensure that you are getting that information and being competitive.
I took an intro to research class in my community college. Would that count as research experience? That would not.
I would say no.
No, yeah. Again, we want you to be able to conduct a full research project, meaning the hypothesis, lit review, having references. Taking a course will prepare you for that, but not necessarily saying that you conducted an actual research project. So no. Could I apply my freshman fall semester?
So we have had students apply their first year, but typically they've been in a previous research program, either during the summer. We had a student that did a biomedical research program at Stanford before she even started at UC Merced. So something that like that does give you a leg up on being a little bit more prepared. The other thing is if you've taken a lot of AP courses or community college courses, so in your discipline, in your major courses, previously you have some foundation already, that does make you more competitive, but we're not guaranteeing that because we will prioritize students who have more time at UC Merced who are further along in their path over an incoming first year student, but it's always recommended to apply and go through the process so you're familiar with it.
So going back to the student that asked about the USDA experience, I am an incoming freshman. Would you still encourage me to apply with her with the previous experience? And if we have a contact info for that USDA faculty member?
So I would definitely encourage you to contact Dr. Rudy Ortiz. He's a biology professor. He also teaches physiology and endocrinology, but he is the person that is the director for the USDA program on the campus. He's a great collaborator with our office, but that program is not run by us. So if you have questions about it and transferring and getting into that program, you'd have to contact him directly. One note, he is typically in Japan every summer. I know that a lot of his plans have changed because of COVID-19, so he might be more readily available, but just keep that in mind as you're trying to contact faculty. A lot of them are trying to move to the remote instruction for the summer sessions as well, so they might be impacted and not get back to you as quickly.
Does the student's major manipulate research opportunities, and could you change your major depending on research topics? Do you want to answer that one?
So depending on the research opportunities, sometimes yes. So if there's a specific area of your major, so I'll use the cognitive science example again. It's technically in the School of Social Sciences, Humanities, and Arts, But if the research that you're doing in a cog-sci lab is more neuroscience or biology-based, like neurobio, that tends to go more towards the STEM side. And so we would push you to our camp, UC Leeds, or even JHI. If we're doing more data analysis, that's an opportunity to still open as well. But if you're more on the psychology, so behavioral psychology, that type of research, we're going to push you to the SHOP programs. Most likely SURF is going to be the one that we'll put cognitive science students in. So there are a couple majors that are like that, where we kind of manipulate where they, as you said, manipulate, that's in my head now. So we might decide to put you in a specific program based on your research interests. So we ask in our application what kind of faculty members or what areas you might be interested in. That's where we might push you to a specific program. And then what was the other part of that? Oh, can you change your major based on your research area? Some students have realized that once they do research in an area, they're like, yeah, I love this. I don't think I'm going to go back to my major. That's something you would have to talk to your academic advisor about, because you also want to ensure that this isn't going to derail your plans for graduation time. But ensuring that as you get research experience, you might change your path and interest for graduate school, which is totally fine. You don't have to be sociology and then do a sociology PhD, or a biology major and wanting to do a biomedical PhD. You can totally change in that transition, and a lot of our students have done that.
Yes, this one is for transfer students. Is it appropriate to contact a professor this fall if they're really interested in a specific project sooner rather than later? I would say yes, absolutely. Get in contact with that professor, let them know you're a transfer student, you are very interested in their research, it aligns with your interests, and once you make that connection, they're more than willing to bring you on for the summer, and let them know that you plan to apply with UROC and you can secure funding to research with them over the summer. Another plug for transfer, we have another webinar with admission on the 14th. And for that webinar, transfer student panel, we will be having a transfer student panel, and they can talk about their experience with research and being a part of UROC for the summer. So the 14th at 5 o'clock. Yes, this program is only for the summer. We don't host anything for the academic year. But if you were to continue your research during the academic year, you can apply for credits. But we are strictly summer. Can a personal research count towards the experience for the university? Do you want to answer that one, Jorge?
Typically, no. We have had students apply trying to say like, oh, I did this on my own. I did some Google data analysis. We still don't consider that a full research project or a full research experience. But that's definitely something that we can talk about as you start looking at our application process and thinking about our programs. It depends. I would say if you've done the full thing and there was a mentor and somebody helped you kind of analyze the data, that you didn't just kind of fumble around on your own. But we would still want you to get a little bit more development, particularly as we look at our symposia or conference attendance, that we want you to be prepared for that we don't want to say, oh yeah, they've done research, let's send them out. So we'd still want you to go through our programs, but potentially, typically no.
How many projects can you be involved with either at once or within the years? For the summer, you would be involved in one research project. If you're done with that project and you present it over the summer and you want to continue with that same topic, you can during the academic year and get credit for it. A lot of our students will continue on to do a more advanced research with our department for the next summer, and they can partake in a different research topic or continue on the same one with the same professor. You have free range to do that.
Over the time that you're at UC Merced, you can get multiple projects. I will say that some of our students have done 2 or 3 different projects throughout their years. They've also had different mentors. So one summer you're with us that you're doing a research project with one professor, the next year or even during the academic year, you could also move to a new professor's project as well.
Is there a way to explore all research areas if undocumented?
Yes, our SURF and SOAR programs are open to any student, any discipline, and it's not tied to US citizenship for that funding. So those programs are definitely open, and we encourage students that are undocumented to apply to them. And we'll help you with all of the other opportunities that we can push you towards as well in the future.
Is it still possible to apply to summer programs, and what are the dates for the application? So not for this summer, it is closed. We open our summer program applications for fall of 2020, and that's usually in October, and that is for UROC H, that's humanities. And then we open our spring enrollment for the summer in the spring before the summer. Hopefully I didn't jumble that, but that is usually in February and March. So it's always the semester before the summer. I am a first-year student and have taken an array of AP classes and multiple college classes at my local community college, and have been in contact with a professor to join a research project within the community college. How would my chances be when applying, and would that be enough experience?
Potentially, I think
Yeah.
it might, and particularly as a transfer student, if you've worked in community college research projects, we would start considering you a little bit more of an advanced scholar, but we would need to look at what kind of research you did and what level of rigor and how much you were involved with the project before we counted it as a previous research experience.
With the application open this fall for the summer of 2021, that is our goal. We don't foresee it not being open. We hope that everything goes smoothly and everything comes back to normal. So yes, we plan to stick with the normal schedule for next academic year. Let's see. What if you start a certain research topic and end up not enjoying it? Are you able to switch? Do you want to answer that one?
Yes. It is a challenge for some students.
Yeah.
But we also have helped students navigate that conversation with their mentors. We've also encouraged them to think about how this can apply for their future research experience. So we'll also talk about why they're not enjoying it and what aspects of it could be changed. So yes, but we're also going to be cautious about that because we don't want you to then just switch and drop and kind of move to a new one, particularly since our summer is only 9 weeks. It goes by very fast. And so if the student is transitioning in week 3 or 4, they're going to have a hard time completing a research project in about 3 weeks, because the final week is really like just practice for our symposium. So we want to ensure that the students are not feeling even more pressured and not completing something. So we'd rather them stay on with the project and kind of adapt if they could.
Okay. Do some of the research projects require students to go to different places outside of California for a certain amount of time? Not with our research projects. We, depending on the research topic and the professor you're working with, but a lot of them are on our campus over the summer. This summer we are going virtual, so you'll be working from home or on our campus if it allows, but not with our research.
Yeah, typically the
of
students in
California.
our oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, typically the students in our programs, we require them to be in Merced for the summer because there's a lot of workshops and development that would need to happen. There are projects that would take you out of Merced a day or two a week. There are some that are doing some stuff in the Sierra Nevadas and Yosemite. There's a Shakespeare program that they went across different state or cities in California to look at Shakespeare performances. So there are opportunities where you might travel, but typically you're going to come back to UC Merced to do our workshops and development series with our grad students.
What advice would you recommend for an incoming transfer student wanting to get involved into research opportunities as soon as possible? Do your research, look at the faculty that are conducting research right now, and if their interest aligns with yours, contact them, reach out to them. Our professors are very engaging. They love communicating with their students, especially our transfer students, knowing that you want to get into research right away. Let them know that you're planning to apply to UROC, and so that you can secure that funding and they can work with you one-on-one over the summer. So look at our graduate division website, look at our faculty website, and just explore the research opportunities, and there's a lot. So definitely take a look at that and reach out to them as soon as you can.
And particularly for transfer students, start contacting us as quickly as you can. Set up a meeting with one of the coordinators, come by our office. one of the students, they were a spring admit, and in the first week of school starting, she scheduled meetings with us to come and talk about research. So it helps to come and talk to us so we can help you with the process, particularly as transfers. We know that you're in a tighter schedule. For first years, we want you to kind of ease into it, come to our events. There's plenty of opportunities for you to understand and experience research from an outside perspective without being in the program. So we encourage you to do that as first years, but transfers, come and talk to us quickly.
How many students are usually involved in one topic? It depends on the faculty, honestly. There'll be a lot of grad students that you'll be working with, as well as undergraduate students like yourself that are involved in the research. It's up to the faculty's discretion on how many students they want to take on their project. So it could be you by yourself or multiple working on the same topic. Research projects worth credit. Not for the summer, you would be getting a stipend, but if you continue on that research during the academic year, then you can apply for credit. What are the research projects under astronomy? We don't have an astronomy major.
We don't have astronomy, but we do have physics faculty that are doing some research that might apply, but it's not astronomy because we don't have that major at UC Merced. But I would look at some of the physics faculty that are doing similar kind of things that you might find some interest in.
Are these programs the same as research labs in developmental psychology, or where do we go to see which projects are open?
Some of the development labs like Cradle and Seedle, students in our programs get to do research in those labs, but it's different than what you would probably see like the studies where they're asking students to go and volunteer to be a participant. That's not what we're looking for our programs. We want students to actually be the ones involved in setting up and conducting the research with those participants. So yes and no. So the developmental labs are related and our students can participate in that research, but that's different than what we structure in terms of our students.
First year planning to apply with past research experience, should they reach out to us? Yes, reach out to us as soon as you can so we can discuss it with you. But if not, you can always apply and we'll have that discussion as well.
And I think Gabriella is the one with the USDA experience. So if you have any challenges or you're trying to get a hold of Dr. Ortiz, feel free to contact us and we'll help you out.
Yeah, we'll get you in touch. What are there research projects under public health major? Yes, absolutely. Yes, there's a lot.
Definitely.
Yep.
A lot of faculty are looking for students as well because they're getting involved in the community. And particularly with COVID-19, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more development of research projects in the public health spheres. So definitely a lot will be offered.
What are the research projects for business economic majors? I would recommend going to their website. Let me see if I can pull it up now. And you can see a list of the faculty that are in that major. And you can see what research they're working on.
A few examples. So one was looking at income levels throughout California and looking at the community development opportunities based on income. And so they were comparing data from, I'm drawing a blank on the federal organization that looks at jobs, whatever it is, but they were looking at data, trying to really get a better sense of like what opportunities or what limitations there are based on your income levels by communities. Another business one, they were looking at particularly women in technology. So that professor and their grad students are trying to get students who are interested in those areas to interview people who are in the industry to understand and better support students going into those fields because they're less represented.
I put in the chat box the faculty directory so you can just browse through what's available, what the faculty that are here and the research that they're conducting. Are there research projects for abnormal psychology? Again, I would reference the website. I don't know is there any abnormal psychology?
I don't think we have a lot of abnormal. It's usually developmental, a few that are really focused on the impacts of stress. And so it's not abnormal psych, it's more like health psych. And that's kind of the closest you'll probably find at our campus. I don't think very many are going into abnormal psychology right now.
Research projects under microbiology major. Lots and lots
A
and
lot.
lots.
A lot of our bio
Right, right.
faculty have research available for students. And unfortunately, the labs are going to be closed this summer, but a lot of the labs are really dependent on first or undergraduate students to do the research because there's just so much to do. So definitely look at faculty, and particularly as you're taking those introductory courses, get connected with them. A lot of them are great mentors for our students.
We will post our contact info again after the Q&A. If anything, you can always just visit our website, uroc.ucmerced.edu, and all of our contact info is there for you. To Gabriella. Do you guys have a minor for political science? I would check on our website for majors and minors, but I believe we do. Are there research projects for computer science and engineering? Yes, lots. JGI would be more data sciences, but again, lots of opportunities for engineering and computer sciences.
And particularly with computer science, depending on what kind of area you're interested in, there are opportunities to work on at the Mesa Lab doing UAVs or drone work. There's opportunities to work on robotics projects. So it really depends what kind of area you're interested in. But yes, definitely CSE majors have opportunities at UC Merced.
What do the research projects consist of? Are you asking about what you're going to produce? Maybe?
Not really sure what they're hinting at, but it could be working with the faculty member to identify what the problem is of the research project. So it's creating like the whole gamut that we talked about, from the beginning parts of creating a hypothesis to understanding the literature review, what other research has happened, all the way through to presenting a research project with a poster, an oral presentation, or written manuscript. So if you're submitting for a journal article, those are areas that I think you're talking about, like the full picture of what research consists of, I think. Hopefully that answered your question.
I hope so. Are there research projects for engineering? Lots and lots and lots. Yes, absolutely. I think we answered those questions.
So if there are other questions, feel free to contact us through our social media, our email, or calling our office. All of us, our contact information is available on our website, as Emily pointed out. But Ricky, I'll turn it back to you. I think we're almost out of time, and I think we're done with our part.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you for Jorge and Emily's time this afternoon and answering some really great questions about the UROC program. Much appreciated. And of course, we're grateful for everyone who was in attendance today and asking those great questions. So just to recap a little bit, we do have that Contact Us screen that is up for you right now. So you can see our location. Of course, right now with the uncertain times that we are all facing, we don't have that availability on campus, but we do have the great resources of online. So we have an email address there for you that's UROC, UROC @ucmerced.edu. There's also a couple of social media handles there for you that you'll see. So we've got Instagram at Merced UROC, which is again UROC. And we also have Facebook, UROC, the UC Merced UROC. So make sure that you check those out and follow us there for more important dates and deadlines and other critical information for you. I also would like to give you some information about where you'll be able to find the recording of this session within a couple of days. That website is admitted.ucmerced.edu/webinars. Once again, it's admitted.ucmerced.edu/webinars. We also have a long list of other online events, live events, and webinars that are coming up. So you can also find that list on that same website. So just a couple that are coming up. We do have a financial aid, understanding your financial aid award letter. That one's coming up on the 9th. We also have the additional UROC session for transfer students on, I believe, the 14th. There's many others that are there, so definitely take some time to take a look at that list, mark your calendars, and please join us again. One more time, that website, admitted.ucmerced.edu/webinars. On behalf of UC Merced and our colleagues that were here online with us tonight, of Emily and Jorge, we very much appreciate your attendance. Have a wonderful evening.
Thanks, everyone.
Everyone.
Bye.